All right. Welcome, 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 everyone. Welcome to you on this amazing day where life is occurring. How are you doing today? Paco just wanted to say hello this morning. We're having kind of a cold and blustery day, so we're staying close to the hearth. Hun's out skiing. Yay for him. And I want to talk to you about some of the things that are affecting our health. Wow. And our happiness. Woo! And why it's important to begin here at home to cultivate and create our own personal health and happiness, to strengthen ourselves from within. In this new series called Happy, Healthy, Hearth and Home, you know that we've been talking about the importance of true nourishment and using food as medicine. And we did the 21-day detox, which we're going to talk about in the upcoming coaching call about the importance of this detoxification and what some of our experiences were. And so we want to make sure that when we're detoxing the body, that we are very gentle with ourselves, because a lot of things are going to come up. You know, first we started in our pantry, we detoxed and got everything out of the pantry that was genetically modified, that had more than 4 ingredients. We're going with non-GMO, wheat-free, corn-free, unless you use some good non-GMO organic corn. But the problem with corn is everybody gave up wheat, went to corn, and so when we eat the same things over and over, it creates an allergic reaction. So if you can eat, you'll begin to reintroduce after your 21-day cleanse, and just notice how your tummy feels. Now, I feel mostly fantastic most of the time. I do notice when I'm following the moon cycle, even though I am now a woman of a certain age, every 28 days, I'm tracking my energy still. I'm still following the moon, because I notice that there's a waxing and waning of my energy. There's a waxing and waning of my moods. And I gotta grab my notes. Hang on. And my water. What am I doing over there without any water over here? So those of you who know me well, you know I've always been a bit of a conspiracy theorist, and I've been talking about these things for a long time, to the chagrin of, maybe my family and my in-laws. But it's important. It's so important, because I'm looking out from the perspective of, why are children so allergic? Why are so many adults suffering from sleep deprivation and digestive issues? Why is everybody either diagnosed with ulcerative colitis or Crohn's? Why is everybody taking antacids, antibiotics, antihistamines? Don't we know that anti is against, right? Right? So it's against our better judgment when we do our 21-day detox, when we really begin to question, why am I in pain, physically, emotionally, spiritually? Why am I not digesting my food, physical food, emotional food, spiritual food? Why am I still clinging to something somebody said to me in 3rd grade that hurt my feelings? Could that be causing an eruption within the bodyscape? Why is my behavior bad? Why am I depressed? Why am I manic? How do I move back towards balance? And there was a video a few days back where we were talking about, you don't want total balance over dead, right? But we kind of want this beautiful flow. About 50 years ago, we gave up. The goddess left the home. The goddess has left the home. And really our health began to tip then. I was blessed to be raised, as you know, part of my story, by a stay-at-home mother who nourished and nurtured us on all levels, which was amazing, taught us to cook, fend for ourselves, blah, blah, blah. And I carry that in my life today. I'm very happy when I am preparing nourishment in my home. I'm blessed to be able to work from home. But I do believe that there are simple tools and tricks and tips that we can do to return to real nourishment. Super simple ways like keeping an awesome bag of, moving towards seeds and nuts, grabbing a handful of seeds and nuts instead of always needing like a burger doodle. Making sure that we're taking in food and noticing. If you eat something, do you have an extreme reaction? I was noticing, for me, I noticed, sugar, my first drug when I was a little child. Even though my mother was very strict about sugar in the home, I still managed to get it, every drug addict. And I started at the age of 3 with a baby aspirin overdose and had to be rushed to the hospital. So, the addict, I was the only one who get the baby bottle lid off, in the house. So my patterns, whether they came from, previous lifetimes, and that's for the spiritually initiated, that conversation. But whatever it is that sent me on this journey, sugar, alcohol, drugs, sex, drugs, and rock and roll. It was the 80s, man. And so I notice now that I have mood challenges related to what I'm exposed to, first of all, in the environment, what I'm ingesting, what I'm taking in my perception, and we have to go 360 degrees of perception because there's negative frequencies coming into our back, but that's moving a bit forward. But if you notice, we have these like debilitating back pain, which is usually like where we're stuffing something. And as we go deeper into the mind-body connection, we'll get into that. Today, remind me to stay on task and target. Today, I just want to talk to you about this inflammation that is caused by the food, what we're ingesting, be it physical food, emotional food, mental food, spiritual food, astral food. We are being affected by the alignment, the universal alignment. This is the cosmic broadcast, right? After all, waiting for the mothership. So I'm looking out on the earth plane, and I'm seeing a lot of things that are giving me pause. Now, I do not have children. Full disclosure, I chose not to have children. I knew that as the party girl that I was back then, that I did not want to bring a child into the chaos of this reality, but I am blessing all children. I'm loving parents. I'm wanting you to have freedom in your ability to raise your children. And I'm going to put down below this video some of the related information where I have gotten this information. I follow Dr. John Berger, Dr. Randy Tent, and one of the things that is most concerning to me is this inflammation, this encephalitis, this inflammation in the brain that we may or may not be aware of. And a few of the possible causes for this. One of the things that I notice when I ingest something that I'm going to have a reaction to is, like I said, this mood change. I mostly go into a very low, depressed mood, and it can last for quite a while. there's a high incidence, and allopathic doctors are not even looking for this, of encephalitis, which is causing extreme behavior in children. And this can be related to the food they're taking in, the vaccines that they're all getting, parasites that no one's talking about, and of course, the inability to be able to express. You know, when I was a kid, not only was I blessed to, you know, OD at the age of 3 on baby aspirin, but I guess I kind of had an anger issue. I used to hold my breath, and my mother would hose me down to get me to gasp for breath. But I had this extreme anger as a young child. I kind of grew out of it the older I got. And when I started to do my spiritual work, as I moved into menopause, I realized that when my mother was pregnant with me, they had lost a baby due to crib death right before she got pregnant with me. So I absorbed the emotions that my mother had. No blame, no shame. No blame, no shame. But nobody talked to me about it, and nobody talked really about that at all. And I do believe that I brought into this frequency this ball of anger, and I didn't know what to do with it. So, of course, medicate myself with drugs and alcohol, starting at a very young age, smoking cigarettes, boozing, and that's how I managed. And you know what they say? Everything works great until it doesn't. And that's, you know, what we learn when we go into recovery. And gratefully so, I've not had a drink in over 17 years. The other challenges that I noticed for myself with this underlying depression that I was always trying to get rid of, push it away. I didn't want to see it. And I've never taken any prescribed medication, but I certainly did enough self-medication, as I said, with drugs and alcohol of the recreational kind. Don't need to say much more. So that continues to be my challenge, to navigate my own inner landscape. To witness my body and mind's response to external or internal factors. Remember in the most recent video, we were talking about that the immune system's always listening, and we start off with this wonderful mass of beautiful bacteria and microbes that live in our gut, that help us digest food and pull out the nutrients that we need. What happens is, with all the medication that we're taking, both over the counter and prescribed, is it's diminishing the gut flora and fauna that is beneficial. And it's allowing other agents to take over. Sorry, I'm a little shuffly today. I haven't been out for my run yet. It's only 8 degrees. So, what are these agents doing to us? What are these agents doing to little tiny beings when we start shooting them up with vaccines, when we feed them genetically modified organisms? They've already been raised in a mother who was probably nourished maybe from the microwave era, generation. And let's get real about this, that this is a real problem. Why are we having so many fertility issues? Why are we seeing so many extreme overreactions? I believe it's what we're taking in. So what are you taking in? What are you taking in? That's killing the liver. The liver is the first in Chinese medicine. It is where anger is stored. And so if our liver is detoxed, we're going to have these extreme, anxious expressions of anger, sadness, grief. I didn't even talk about the electromagnetic frequencies that children who are sensitives, like I was born sensitive, you would call them now the indigo children, that are so immersed in this frequency of electromagnetic waves that we don't even know what the majority of them are that are being sent out, that they're not able to do their work because they're just too sick, and they are really here to follow through on what those of us who came in about 50 years ago began, those of us who were the way showers and the light bringers. And now it was up to the indigos to be able to take this ball and run with it to bring the potential for peace now upon the planet. But they're too sick. They're too sick. Dr. John Bergman says if you're over the age of 50, don't plan on retiring because this generation will not live, this new generation will not live long enough to take care of us. I don't want anybody to take care of me. I want to take care of myself. And he says that rather tongue-in-cheek, but that is very, very disturbing. Look at the facts. And the facts exist. They've just been hidden. They've been hidden in plain sight, really. So what to do? What's a girl to do? She's depressed. You know, he's angry. He's miserable. He can't communicate. That's a good question. And that's what we're here to investigate. Because I believe, as Hippocrates taught us, you and I, if we're listening, certainly not the medical world. That's another question. Why are doctors not taught anything about nutrition? Why do doctors not know about encephalitis that is brought about by chemical contribution or micrological contribution, which would be in the form of parasites? What about all the neurotoxins that are in all of these medications? Did you read the possible side effects on those medications? What about the toxic effects of multiple medications? Because you know they're not researching to take you off one, they want to add another. So these are the questions that we are asking. How do we nourish ourselves better? What does real nourishment look and, more importantly, feel like? What is our inner landscape like? Are we so filled with toxic poisons that we can't stand to be in our own present for this lifetime? Are we chasing? Mother's always got her face in this machine, and nobody's looking into the eyes of their brilliant, beautiful children anymore. And how many little children need mother and daddy to look them in the eyes and tell them that they are valuable, beautiful, powerful, that there is potential because they are here, and to nourish them. What is the high cost of cheap food? Everybody's so concerned about this whole health insurance bullshit. And I believe that the best way to stay healthy is to allow your health to begin at home. If you're broken or bleeding, no better care in the world. Get stitched up. Don't get a tetanus shot. Please do your research on that. They just showed that there was a whole, not to mention what's in the tetanus shot, not to mention that the microbes that are on the earth are totally beneficial. There's maybe 1 out of 10,000 that might have tetanus. You might get lockjaw. Nobody ever died from lockjaw. It's one of those things that you, with a healthy immune system, it'd be like this. It'd be a little blip on the radar. We're having these huge immune responses because we're so very toxic. toxic water, toxic food, toxic thoughts, toxic relationships. Do you know that 85% of good health is just thinking beneficially? But we can only think beneficially if we are healthy. These little beings that are coming across the frequency now, did you know that they're getting a hepatitis shot on day 1? Not to mention what Pitocin does to the neural development of children. Not to mention that so many are being brought in by C-section that they're not getting those beneficial vaginal microbes that coat the child's skin and gives them a very powerful shield against this, against all these external factors that are depleting our health. We have a lot to cover. We have a lot to talk about. We have a lot to investigate. We have to wake up. We have to stop drinking the Kool-Aid. We have to choose for ourselves to be well. I am healthy. I am happy. I am grateful. I am blessed. I'm bountiful. The I am. Powerful, immune, enhancing. So that's today's little cosmic download. I know we didn't have many solutions today, but I want to encourage you to come along for the Healthy Hearth and Home series. Make sure you've got good, clean water. Make sure you've got good, clean thoughts. Make sure you're watching things that uplift you and not denigrate you. Make sure you're speaking kindness to and about others. Make sure that you're not complaining, which is very draining to everyone. Make sure you check out Dr. John Bergman and Dr. Randy Tent's information on the documentary Vaxxed. And question for yourself. We have to take our power back. We are so apathetic in the society, unless, of course, we're so malleable and manipulable that we're just erupting about whatever that may be. That's not power. That's being pushed and prodded and poked. It's called useful idiocy. So let's take our power back and become truly powerful, peaceful, prosperous priestesses and priests of peace upon the planet by cultivating peace in our minds, peace in our hearts, peace in our homes, peace on our streets, and sending out the frequency for total health and well-being so that we can receive that back in and make better choices for ourselves and our beautiful children that we have chosen to bring upon the planet at this time.